Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this shit for you. This YouTube strategy is gonna be boring as f. Yep, I said it. You see this plaque that I got with me right here, right? This is a 1 million subscriber plaque. And the shit that I make every month, about 300K per month. And it's all thanks to this one strategy. Now, let me ask you something. You think I got this by making content that gives me a hard on every day? Hell no. I got this by consistently creating content that solved real problems for real people. And these are people that actually have money. And even when I wanted to blow my brains out from boredom making it, I still made the content every single day, right? I have been consistently uploading to YouTube at least 3 times per week for the last 5 years. And let me be brutally honest with you today. The strategy that makes 100K per month on YouTube isn't the fun path. It's not gaming videos, reaction videos, or whatever trendy bullshit that everyone's chasing right now. It's an approach that we'll be talking about here in a minute, but it's often mind-numbingly boring, but it works. And I have a channel with 1 million subscribers and then 2 different businesses that I built off of YouTube that have gotten to 6 figures per month to prove it. So if you're tired of following your passion or making fun content that pays you exactly $0 dollars, then stick around because I'll show you exactly how to build something that actually puts money in your bank account. Because last time I checked, your landlord doesn't accept YouTube views as payment. So if you appreciate me dropping this 100% authentic, brutally honest content, then go ahead and gently tap that like button and let's jump into it right now. So I'm gonna introduce you to the strategy or concept of a hybrid personal brand. And I think that everyone knows what a hybrid personal brand is. It's where you actually show your face and build an audience around your personality and your expertise, and then you launch businesses using your personal brand that you can actually sell later on. All right, this is exactly what Elon Musk did to become the richest man in the world. This is exactly what Obama and Trump did in order to get elected president. They built a personal brand because people don't give a shit about soulless entity companies anymore. They want to interact with other people that they can know, like, and trust, and they can relate to. And the reason that people watch YouTube, really, there's 2 reasons. And if you're a business owner, you understand every single business solves problems. And there's 2 problems that YouTube solves: boredom and loneliness. It solves boredom because YouTube is entertaining and educational, and it solves loneliness because you are interacting, well, sort of interacting, your brain thinks you are. It's called parasocial relationship, which is a little bit creepy, but you're interacting with other human beings. And that's why people watch YouTube. Now, what the hell is this hybrid thing? Is this some kind of weird marketing gimmick? No, a hybrid personal brand is what just about every big name out there does. And look, I'll be honest, this strategy isn't sexy. It's not going to win you any creativity awards. It's actually pretty damn boring, but you know what? It works, and it works consistently. The hybrid personal brand is where you build your personal brand, usually with your name, but you can also create a separate business entity that you can actually sell later. For instance, Mr. Beast creating Feastables, or Elon Musk creating the 17,000 different companies that he has that he can probably sell for billions and billions of dollars whenever he wants. And that's the best of both worlds. You get all the trust and the connection that comes with showing your face, but you're also building an asset that you can exit from whenever you're ready. And if you don't think this works, well, look at The Rock building his tequila brand and then selling it for $1 billion. It absolutely works. Now, is it the most exciting strategy in the world? Hell no. But neither is making 100K plus per month consistently while your competitors are struggling to pay their rent. And I will take boring and rich over exciting and broke any day of the week. Now let's talk about the truth about profitable content. Let me tell you about a conversation that I had with a client recently. Now this guy was a cybersecurity expert with top secret government clearance, making multiple 6 figures a year. And when I asked him what content he wanted to make, he started talking about video games, history, and all this random stuff that he found fun. And I stopped him and I said, dude, you're literally in the top 0.01% of cybersecurity experts, and you want to compete with millions of gaming channels out there instead? And his response, well, cybersecurity is kind of boring and I'm kind of tired of it. Exactly. That's the whole point. The stuff that makes you real money on YouTube and real money in business in general is boring because it's valuable. Think about it. If something is boring, that means that not many people want to create content about it. So there's low supply, but there's tons of people that need help with it. High demand. And this creates the perfect market opportunity. And we need to kill this idea that everything you do in life, you need to be passionate about it, right? You need to be it needs to be some passionate pursuit that you love every second of. You think the garbage collector is passionate about picking up trash? No, but society needs it. This is why when you go out on the street, there isn't a bunch of trash everywhere, because the garbage collector, who is probably not very passionate about picking up trash all day long, does his part. You think firefighters are passionate about running into a burning building to save you? Probably not, but they save lives. And I'm not saying that you should hate what you do, right? There's a spectrum here. But this notion that you need to be super passionate about every thing that you do is unbelievably stupid and childish. And more importantly to the relevance of this video, it's not gonna get you anywhere on YouTube. If you're lucky, it'll get you views and subscribers, which most people won't even get views and subscribers, but you'll probably end up in a position where you're not making money. Just like Boogie2988, who has 4 million subscribers and barely gets by. He makes less than the average income in the United States. Now, in order to illustrate this to you, let me tell you my personal story. When I first started making content on YouTube, I did what all the idiots out there do. I made gaming content. My first ever channel was on this video game called RuneScape. This is a video game that I spent tens of thousands of hours playing, and I wanted to become a famous RuneScape YouTuber. So I started uploading a shitload of content on RuneScape. The only problem is there was a fuckload of other people doing the exact same thing. And so it was insanely competitive, and my channel never got any traction. And the other funny thing is, even if I would have gotten traction, I never would have been able to make a full-time income from it. So it would have always been a hobby. It never would have become a sustainable business. And I started a bunch of other channels that, again, targeted things that I was super passionate about, and I never got anywhere on any of those channels. And then finally, I started to have a little bit of common sense, and I thought to myself, why do I watch all the channels that I watch? And then I started thinking, how could I make content that would actually help the younger version of myself? What information could have saved me years of struggle and thousands of dollars? And how can I start focusing on what other people need rather than what I want? And for me, it was education about how the job market actually works, right? I had been fed terrible information that led me to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt for a pharmacy degree that got me a job being a corporate cog. And I wish that I could go back in time and tell my younger self about remote work opportunities that don't require degrees but can lead to 6 figures in income with a better lifestyle and more freedom. So that's what my channel became about. And that's when I started having massive amounts of success on YouTube, and it was pretty much right away. And here's the truth. After making the first few videos, it was fun, but eventually it got boring. Explaining the same concepts over and over again isn't exciting. But you know what? I stopped focusing on whether I was having fun, and I started focusing on the viewers who desperately needed this information. And that mindset shift is what took me from making nothing to over 100K a month. And every time I get a comment saying, this video changed my life, or I got a remote job and doubled my income, thanks for your advice, it reminds me of why I keep making this boring content, because I'm actually helping other people. And oh yeah, it turns out if you help a bunch of other people, you're probably gonna make a lot of money too. And the money's nice, not gonna lie. So let me give you some examples of some of my clients who are crushing it making boring content. One client is a financial controller who teaches accountants how to become financial controllers too. Now, if you're not familiar with this, a financial controller is basically a very high-level accountant who usually makes like over $200,000 a year. While regular accountants typically make like 50 to 100,000. And his content helps people double or even triple their income. Now, do you think he's passionate about teaching people how to crunch numbers all day? Hell no. It's just a job to him, right? It's a way to put food on the table and provide for his family. But he's making bank because he's providing massive value to other people. Another client has been teaching digital marketing for over 10 years now. And when he started, it was exciting. He loved it. But now he's bored to tears teaching the same concepts over and over again. And he's literally gotten thousands of people jobs, but it bores him to death. But guess what? He's changed thousands of lives and he makes incredible money. And the people making the most money on YouTube are not the ones having the most fun. They're the ones helping people solve expensive problems. And you might be thinking, well, Shane, look at all these people who became professional gamers and they're like, streamers and they just play video games all day long. Well, okay, let's use that example. Professional gamers, right? They can't even enjoy games anymore because they've turned it into work, right? These people have to be totally dialed in every single second that they're playing the video game, right? They took something that they loved, which is a hobby, and they turned it into an occupation. So they can't even enjoy the hobby anymore. Jokic, for instance, one of the best basketball players in the world, literally said that basketball is just a job for me now. And you know what? That's okay, because he's making millions. And realize that no matter what you do, eventually it's going to be work. It's gonna just be a job, or it's gonna just be a business where you have to provide a product or service to other people. And it's not about you, it's about those people that you're providing the product and service to. So you can either go into a business or a job that's mega saturated and just about everybody wants to do it, or you can find something where you can make just as much money, if not more money, that's not saturated, but it's a little bit more boring. Your choice. So, How do you find this boring but profitable content that could make you 100K per month? That's the next question. Well, ask yourself one simple question. What problems did I overcome that cost me significant time, money, or emotional pain? That is your gold mine. When life gives you lemons, you can make lemonade from it. Just as an example, I had another client who was exceptional at writing grants. She had secured over $100 million in funding for various organizations. And when we were discussing her YouTube strategy, she said that she wanted to start making videos about penny stocks because she found them to be fun. And I asked her how much experience she had with penny stocks, and she said, oh, I just started. And this is exactly what not to do. She was in the 99.9th percentile of grant writers, but she wanted to compete in a field where she was in the bottom 10th percentile just because it was more fun. And I refused to help her with that approach because it would provide zero value to her audience and it could potentially harm people financially. Meanwhile, she could have helped thousands of organizations secure funding with her grant writing knowledge. And let me be brutally honest. If you want YouTube to just be a fun hobby, great. Enjoy yourself. But if you want it to be a business that generates 100K a month, you need to focus on value creation, not mindless self-indulgence. Now, why do I specifically recommend the hybrid personal brand model for YouTube? Because it gives you maximum adaptability. You can easily pivot. So if you do get bored, you can just change the trajectory of your channel, right? Because you are a living, breathing human being and you evolve over time. You're gonna have different interests and your audience might have different interests as well. You know, if you start a channel called The IT Guy, you're stuck being the IT guy forever. But if you build a personal brand like I did, you can pivot as the market changes, as you learn new skills, or as you discover more profitable opportunities. And human beings dominate the planet for one main reason: adaptability. A polar bear can't survive in the desert. A lizard can't survive in Alaska. But humans, we adapt to every environment. And the hybrid personal brand is the ultimate business model because it can adapt to anything. You can launch multiple businesses from it, right? Elon Musk launched businesses in just about every freaking industry out there at this point. And the reason they're all successful, he doesn't run these businesses himself. I mean, if you know anything, you know this. He hires CEOs to run them for him. But one of the biggest reasons why they're successful is because he has a massive personal brand. You can also pivot your content when the market changes. You can test different offers without having to rebrand. And you could turn personal challenges into profitable content, basically documenting your journey along the way while you're learning these new things. And then again, teaching the past version of yourself how you can solve those problems. Now, I've pivoted my content strategy at least 5 times, and each pivot has led to more growth and more income. And like I said, when life gives you lemons, a hybrid personal brand lets you turn that into lemonade. And I know someone who overcame debilitating brain fog, then they created a program teaching executives and entrepreneurs how they can do the same. And they're making a ton of money now doing this. Now, let me tell you something that took me years to learn. The people who make the most money on YouTube aren't having the most fun making their content. They're the ones who identify valuable skills or knowledge they possess. They create structured, helpful content about those topics. They focus on solving specific, expensive problems. They stick with it even when it gets boring and repetitive, and they measure success by impact and income, not entertainment value. Think about PewDiePie, who uploaded a video every single day for 10 years. When he first started with his gaming content, he probably loved it, but he was very public about how much he hated creating content, especially towards the end. It was an absolute slog for him. And that's why he's pretty much retired from YouTube now. And you might be saying, well, PewDiePie made whatever content he wanted. Later on, he pivoted to making meme review content and he did Minecraft and he did all kinds of stuff that he wanted to do. Yeah, that's because he built the hybrid personal brand first to the point where he could do whatever the he wanted later on down the line. But at first, he was making content that people actually wanted to see. And he was solving the problem of boredom, which is something that not a lot of people were solving back then. And making 100K per month on YouTube isn't about finding your passion. It's about finding the intersection of what you know, what others need, what they'll pay for, and what few others are teaching effectively. And then showing up consistently to deliver it, even on days when you'd rather do literally anything else. And this approach isn't glamorous. It's not what you see in those day in the life of a YouTuber videos with people partying on yachts. That's absolute bullshit. Most days it's more like sitting at this desk recording similar content over and over again. But would I trade the financial freedom and more importantly, the impact for more fun content that makes nothing? Absolutely not. And look, I'm not saying you should be miserable. Find something that you don't hate, that you're good at, and you can provide a lot of value with. But stop chasing the idea that YouTube success comes from doing what's the most fun. The real money, the life-changing 100K per month money comes from providing consistent value, solving real problems, and focusing on your audience's needs rather than your entertainment. And that's why my channel works. That's why I hit 1 million subscribers. That's why I make more than what most people make in a year every single month. So ask yourself, do you want YouTube to be a fun hobby that that you don't make any money from? Or do you want it to be a business that gives you financial freedom? If it's the latter, you need to embrace the boredom. You need to focus on value. You need to build a hybrid personal brand around your expertise, not entertainment value. And if you want to learn exactly how I built this boring but extremely profitable YouTube channel, then check out the free training in the description below. It'll show you step by step how to identify your profitable niche and build a content strategy that actually makes money. And if you're somebody who's very serious about growing and making money on YouTube, like if you're a business owner watching this, or if you're a YouTuber that has a lot of views and subscribers, but you're not making enough money, then go ahead and book a call with myself and my team down below. On this call, we will identify where you're currently at, the current problems that you have, where you want to go to, aka your goal. We'll make a plan on how to get from where you are right now to getting to your goal, and then we'll see if we're a good fit to work together or not. If you want to check out someone who is in that exact position where they weren't making money on YouTube and I helped them to get to over 100K per month, then check out this interview I did with Davis by clicking right here.